The Senate's proposed agriculture funding bill achieved bipartisan approval during its final committee hearing and will be debated by the full Senate this week. Senator Aric Putnam is the chair of the Senate Agriculture, Broadband, and Rural Development Committee, and he joins me to highlight some of the investments in the Senate's proposal. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Shannon. It's great to get a chance to visit.
You are a communications professor by trade. This is your second term in the Senate, and it's your first term on the Agriculture, Broadband, and Rural Development Committee, and you are the chair. So what drew you to this committee, to the role of the chair, and how big has the learning curve been?
There's lots to learn, and there's lots to love about Minnesota agriculture. It's fascinating stuff, and I'm a curious guy, so I've dove in headfirst on this, and I've been talking to people, been reading, I've been studying about this as much as I possibly can. And the more that you look into Minnesota agriculture, the more simply amazing it is. The incredible resilience and creativity of Minnesota's farmers. It is so incredibly impressive and inspiring. And in the work I've done so far, I've gotten to learn so much from all these people who do these jobs, and it's a great opportunity, and I hope that I'm up to it.
So in a statement, you said that you have traveled the state and that you, quote, heard the voice of the farmer. What did you hear from farmers, and what are some of their struggles, and how will this budget help them?
That's a great question. So yeah, we've had discussions, we've had town halls, we've had listening sessions, and I probably visited with close to 400 farmers over the past 2 months. And their concerns are like the concerns of other Minnesotans. They're just a little bit more particular or more specific or more precise. So farmers these days will tell you most likely that they're concerned about stability. It's a volatile industry in the first place, and they're concerned about having some security for their investments and their work and making sure that they're compensated for the hard work that we do. You see how that's a problem that most Minnesotans feel, but farmers feel it acutely given how volatile and dynamic their industry is. So that's one of the big things you're going to hear. You're also going to hear concern about the future of farming, whether that's in innovation and becoming more sustainable, or if it's getting new people to farm. Both of those things are things that farmers are thinking about right now. And they care tremendously about those issues, and that's why we constructed the bill we did. This bill doesn't just hear the voice of the farmer, it's because of the voice of the farmer.
And this is a special year because there is a fairly large budget surplus, and each budget area gets some of that budget surplus to be used for one-time spending. $14 million has been allocated for a grain indemnity fund. What is this, and how will it help farmers?
Yeah, in the conversations I've been having with farmers, this is one of the things that comes up all the time, and it's exactly about this issue of stability and security. So I'm a grain farmer. I got a lot of grain. I got to store it somewhere to dry out and give it some time. What happens if that elevator fails? What happens if it goes down? What happens if the company that's running the place goes bankrupt? That happens almost once a year in the state of Minnesota, and every time it does, a family goes bankrupt. The current bond system pays 11 cents on the dollar. If you have $400,000 worth of grain, your entire year's yield, and that's all gone, and that's the only compensation you get, that's not okay. So we are joining all the states around us that already have grain indemnity funds. Minnesota is the worst at providing security around grain in the entire upper Northwest West, and after we pass this bill, we will become the best.
So, an issue of security for farmers. Now, you mentioned how exciting and innovative farming might be in the future, and one thing that jumped out at me, I was intrigued by a section that details grants that are available to organizations interested in developing, quote, continuous living cover crops and cropping systems. The bill mentions a grain called kernza. It's a perennial grain, which I learned is a domesticated form of wheatgrass. It's one possible new development in agriculture. The Washington Post wrote about it in 2021 and called it a recipe for fighting climate change and feeding the world. So is this the kind of example of the future of agriculture that we might be talking about?
This is so incredibly cool. This is the coolest thing in the world. We actually got to tour the Forever Green space, their laboratories and their greenhouses, just last week. And what they are doing is absolutely amazing. They are finding ways to grow certain crops over the winter periods, to have crops like kernza. If you look at a kernza plant, I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it, but the top of it looks like another normal sort of wheat kind of situation. But the roots are like 10, 15 feet long, and they're huge. It stops erosion, it sequesters carbon. And I want to make sure that I'm clear on this, that Minnesota's farmers are ready to lead. When it comes to innovation and sustainability, they don't see any kind of conflict between the kinds of sustainable practices that they want to do that they know aren't just good for the earth. They're not just good for the soil. They're not just good for the quality of water. They're good for their businesses. They'll increase their yield. They'll have brand new seasons of planting and new crops to harvest. This is the future of Minnesota agriculture, but as it's the future of Minnesota agriculture, it's going to become the future of world agriculture, because the things we're doing here are brilliant, and their opportunities are endless.
There's also, it's not a new program, but it's getting a boost in funding, and that's for soil health. How will grants for making soil more resilient impact the future of farming?
Oh, it's great. I mean, farmers, as I mentioned earlier, they want to try new things. They want to do what they can for soil health and for water health, because they know it's in their best interest as a business, but also as a human being, as someone who lives on the farm where they're producing the product that they're producing. So basically, soil health grants will enable farmers to buy kind of more expensive equipment that lets them do things differently on their farm. And that new equipment will have long-term benefits both for the environment and for their businesses as their yields improve.
Much has been written about the future of farming, and you referenced this earlier. The average age of a farmer in the United States, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, is about 60 years old. So I know there's funding in here to bring new people into the farming industry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's incredibly important. And some of the things that we've done is we've been working on the beginning farmer tax credit, which is a tax credit that a farmer gets when they lease or sell their land to a new farmer. In the past, there's been a restriction on that so that it can't go to a family member. But family members need help now. Farming is incredibly capital intensive, now more than ever. The value of land is out of control right now. I was talking to a farmer a couple weeks ago from Avon, and he told me that he bought his land for $600 an acre, and now it's $6,000 an acre. There was a parcel of land, my pal Senator Weber told me, parcel land in his district that sold recently for $19,000 an acre. It's impossible to become a new farmer, and we wonder why our farms are consolidating and small farms are disappearing. It's because we're not supporting new young people who need to go into farming. And so that's something that's been very important for me, and I'm really proud of how we're helping people do that in this agricultural omnibus bill.
And finally, there's also $100 million that will expand broadband access throughout the state. This has been an ongoing topic of conversation. Department of Ag Commissioner Tom Peterson has been on this program several times, talking about, from his own firsthand experience, the importance of broadband for successful farming operations. How far does this $100 million go?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not as far as I'd like it to go. There are 291,000 households in the state of Minnesota right now without reliable quality broadband. That is completely unacceptable. If we had 291,000, if we had 10 houses that didn't have water or electricity, we would do something to actually fix the problem. We're doing that now as best we can. And so you'll see in the bill, there's $30 million for border-to-border broadband, and then there's another $20 million for what's called the Low Density Project. And that's a new initiative that's being done by DEED's Office of Broadband. And it's going to focus on those places that are hard to get to. Those areas, because they're more expensive. It's really expensive to bring fiber out to one house on the end of a street, but that one house matters too. It's got Minnesotans in it, and we care about them. So we're going to find a way to get them fiber.
Senator Aric Putnam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Shannon.